All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to High School Top 200. I'm Herschel Fruin, and this is the Monday morning meeting, second one that we're doing. And this is just to go over some of the things, some of the scores that have gone over that have been played for this weekend. Also, it is to discuss, or sort of to explain where some of the rankings are going to be. The rankings will be out tonight, or pretty much after you watch this, will probably be out anyway, but it really just depends on how fast I can edit this and put it together, because I'm terrible when it comes to this kind of stuff. But do all the stuff that you're supposed to do, like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. And also, when you go on my website, please click on the ads. Just every time you go on the website, just click on the ads, help me out. And so Google Ads can pay me some money. Don't have to buy anything, just click on the ads and that's it. But if you guys can do those things, let's help this get a bit bigger. Let's try and get some companies on to advertise for me, get some numbers up. But I just want to get into this right now because I didn't think that, being this early into the season, or into like this early into the late season, because that's really what it is. I can already kind of see teams that have problems, and it's weird because the other thing is that no one's ever done anything like this before in terms of, because rugby players try and prepare themselves for specific start times, right? But because our start time was put off, you don't know if these boys are physically actually coming down or starting to come down, because this will kind of be around, I think this should be around maybe their 6th or 7th game. Maybe 8 or 9, depending on how many preseasons you had. And so some boys, are kind of just not used to this kind of stuff. So it's kind of, you can already start seeing maybe a little bit of a pattern leaning towards some players are falling. And it also sucks too, because watching some of these games and seeing kids get injured, because pretty much once you're injured, that could mean your season is done already. And it's sad because everyone's been waiting for the season, and then it starts late, and then this kind of stuff happens, and so you can already start seeing stuff coming together in terms of how this year might even turn out. But it's going to be it's just going to be an interesting time in terms of how the boys, and actually not even just the boys, it's going to be the coaching staff as well. All you physios and doctors out there that work with teams, just how you guys respond to it, and then how you guys, help the boys stay healthy. Maybe this is like the first time where your nutrition, and what you guys are eating and taking and how you guys are training is really going to matter, because I think that throughout the year, when you train just on a normal year, you train knowing that you're going to have breaks in terms of in the mid part of the year, which is usually the next school holidays that are coming up. Not this coming school holidays, the next one's up is when you have sort of a break. But you're no longer going to have that anymore. Like, it's not really going to be there. So I want to see what happens with coaching styles and how they have the boys prepare, and then like even with trainings and stuff like that as well, and all you physios and doctors that work with all the teams, sort of how you guys conduct that, and how you guys orchestrate the way that boys recover and boys train and boys refuel and all that kind of stuff. But listen, if we get started off, okay, we're going to get started off with St. Kenneth and Tangaroa, which they played at 1 o'clock. So I don't know the reason why, but they played at 1 o'clock. A pretty good score, actually. I think I've got to say that the weather pretty much won on Saturday, because the weather stopped, I guess, half of the tries from being scored. Something like that. It was so bad. Even the games that I went to, there was just so many mistakes, real uncharacteristic mistakes. The games that I have seen, thank you for everyone that's been sending me your games and adding me to the huddle, so I can watch your games. And also, just so that people know, I don't watch your games and then like give it to other people to watch. That's not what I do. Like, I just watch your games so I can do my homework. And that's all it is. I'm not trying to pass around information or anything like that. So, like, don't think that I'm trying to conspire with other schools or anything like that. It's not the case at all. So thank you for everyone that's been adding me onto your huddle, so I can be able to watch games and watch players and things like that, and also promote your school too. That's what I do. But seeing how bad the weather affected games, really. I'm not too sure if it exposed teams, but it did even a lot of it up. And from my point of view, being able to grade and rank the teams based off the scores and what I've seen, I kind of held back a bit. Because I know that there would have been things that stuck and that didn't stick. In terms of tries, like for example, St. Kennigan's, I know dropped maybe four tries that should have went through, and that was just bad handling errors from wet ball and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, maybe everyone should have done like the old Highlanders thing where they all wore gloves, which was kind of strange, and it didn't last that long either, where they all wore gloves. Can't remember what year that was. Someone tell me what year that was. I forgot what year it was. Hamilton boys, when I was at the game, they had a lot of kids still trialing, and they changed a lot of boys a lot, and Quinn was out. Quinn and Tupo was out. And Dawson was out as well. So that Dawson and Taha matchup didn't come out. But Taha played. They had Shin in there as well, who I think he's a Japanese kid. I think he's a really good backup right now. And if he was at other schools, he would be starting. Shin is a really good player and can play a bit of fullback, but I think he is a first five, and I think he's been here for like 3 years now. But Shin was having a go at sorry, I can't even remember what his last name was. I just know I've got to start talking about boys with their first and last names, because then I just get caught up just in their first names. But yeah, Shin has been here for, I think, 3 years. But he's a really good, classy first five, and just is a game manager, and he'll just give you everything that you need. And if he was at other schools, he probably would be starting. Like, that's how good he is. But Hamilton didn't really run the way that Hamilton ran, and that was just because of the trialing and trying to get boys in there, and so they can see, I guess, different combinations. But I mean, they had their strongest team on for that last quarter, and I think it showed. It showed how good they were. But yeah, they had Blake for St. Peter's. They had Blake running at first five for some of it. George Maya was really good at halfback. I really liked him. Jonty was good, and Andrew, and also the new props. I think his name is Hunter. I think he's the one that come from Tikwiti, and Diesel, they were both really good as well. I think they just have to catch up to the speed, and that's the thing with when you recruit kids from like smaller areas or smaller schools into bigger schools, they're always like a step behind at first because the pace, like in trainings, is like cool, like you already know what's going on. But once you get to a game and you play some of these big teams like him, like it's worse if you play Hamilton boys because then everything is like intensified from like, especially if you're a prop, like their scrums is going to be way different. You know, the boys that you're going to be going up against are way different in terms of technique and style and speed. And so these boys will have to catch up really quick, and they will. They're good players, and they will catch up as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they turn out come 6 games in the CNI as well. But Hamilton boys weren't playing the way that they usually play, and but they do have some good players that are in there and that are new, and so and some of the young players as well. They had some year 11s running in, and I thought they were really sharp too, and then they kind of fit in there as well. Auckland Grammar did a number on Dilworth, which I knew was going to kind of happen. I was hoping Dilworth would keep them down a bit in their 30s. Hastings and Fielding, I was told that Fielding's backline was really, really good. And, ending that game 22-21, I guess shows that both sides, and I guess because it was raining, but both sides are really sharp, right at the top of their game right now, and should be classed as some of the best in the country. Fielding would be a favorite. Fielding was already a favorite and for that CNI competition, and I'm just waiting to see what St. Paul's Collegiate looks like, because Wanganui is also the other team that looks really good right now. And even though they lost, they've lost to New Plymouth boys and also Palmy boys for their first 2 games, and they haven't been blown off the field at all. They've kept it really close, and they've really there were large portions of those games where they dominated a lot, and I'm not too sure what it is that they need to fix up, or what they're calling that's not working out on the field. But I think once they figure it out, and I guess have the boys running, I guess, the system that they really want to run and then complete and execute right, I think that they're going to be similar to what they were last year. And hopefully they figured that out this year. But Wanganui Collegiate's another one. And this is why I always talk about the CNI competition, because even though these private schools don't have a lot of numbers, and that's the problem with private schools, is that, you may say they get a lot of scholarship players, but that's kind of all they have after that. They don't buy a full 22-man scholarship school like that. That's not it at all. There's not 22 scholarship players. There's like 4 or 5. And some of them they've brought in when they were year 9 and 10. And truly, you don't know how good they're going to be at year 9 and 10. You just got this big hope that they're going to be great. And so, Wanganui Collegiate's done really good in their first 2 matches. Even though they lost both of them, they still went up against top 25 teams, and really pushed both of those teams to perform well and to perform better than what I guess they thought they were going to be. So, Wanganui Collegiate is probably a school that I'd look out for as well. Kings, St. Peter's not scoring, I thought was strange against King's College, because they have a lot more offense. They have a lot of offense, and I'm guessing it's just, I haven't seen the game yet. I'm hopefully going to try and watch it tonight. but yeah, I just expect them. I expected them to get some kind of points on the board. I think if you have AJ, Denzel, and Jeremiah all in your back line, it's got to count to some kind of points. Um, so yeah, hopefully when I watch it, it gets I see what the problems are and where it broke down. The Kelson boys were actually really lucky to get out of this game, and they were lucky to because there were a lot of mistakes on both sides, and a lot of those, and a lot of what they did for both teams weren't executing anything really well. I guess the kicking game from both teams were pretty good. The hits were massive, really loud as well. There was a few that was like, oh, especially towards the end. I don't want to say his name, but yeah, he got hit hard. Everyone, and I was on the Kelston side of the field, and everyone was like, ooh, that must have hurt. And I hope he's all right too. But Kelston got away with that. And De La Salle, I think I'm going to wait till their next game because maybe I didn't rank them high enough. Especially with a lot of the young boys that they had playing, like Lima and Patrick. Junior was another one that I really liked. I mean, Wallace did his thing, and even George Payne was really good too. Joseph on the wing was awesome as well. Maybe get them some more ball. Even Cody was really good at fullback too. So all the young boys I thought really stood up, and I can understand why a lot of these boys are looked at for the future in the going towards under 18 Blues, because these boys were just solid. They were solid. They were young players, and they were solid players skill-wise as well. And so I'm going to have a look at them again later on this year and then see how well they develop. But I really like what I saw first game up with them. The Scots College one, I mean, I said last week I wasn't going to be surprised if they lost. And 29-10 against Town, St. Patrick's Town, is a pretty bad score. Even when you look at it from the point of view of it was raining. I mean, like, everyone still had to play with the same rain and the same grounds and conditions and stuff like that. And I knew that Town was a really ground and pound kind of team with the forward pack that they have, and so I was, and I hope I get to see the footage, but I just wasn't sure how Scots would how they'll play in those kind of conditions, because they are a fast team, a team that doesn't really grind it out ruck wise, but they just move it so fast. And their boys are all athletes that run the field and get out in the open kind of thing. And so, I mean, to me, it's a good show of cards what they can and can't do now. And some of those boys, I'm guessing, will have to really evaluate the way that they play and just be more, I guess, more rounded in their game style that they play, and not everything can just be played at a fast pace. But yeah, they're definitely going to drop in the rankings, and St. Pat's Town is going to move up as well. And the loss for Scots looks good for Rongotai as well, even though Rongotai got done over against Silverstream, which was surprising as well, about how much 36-0. Like, if you take the draw from Scots against Rongotai, and then Rongotai went and played Silverstream and got done by 36 points, it doesn't look well for Scots College when they come up against Silverstream this week. I think it is, yeah. And so, man, I hope Scots put it together. They have a really good coaching staff, and so I know they're going to probably have to change some things up, but yeah, I want to see what it turns out to be this coming week, and then hopefully they all fix it all up, and they get a better product out of their boys. They talked about the Palmy game, 27-15 against Wanganui Collegiate. Kings High School, congratulations to them. And yeah, I think if Kings keep this up, because I know that a lot of the team is coming back next year, and they have some really good guys filling in, and they keep this tradition of winning strong, I think that they can take over Dunedin as being the top team in the city. And if they are in that city, then they're pretty much going to be that in the Deep South. And Otago boys won't have that hold on that region like they have over the how many years, I guess. But yeah, congratulations to Kings. I hope I get to see the footage as well. I'm trying to get someone to send me that stuff so I can watch the game, because I'm really interested in seeing how that went and how that all played out. St. Andrews, I heard had a lot of mistakes. They had a lot of opportunities that they just weren't sticking it, and so their game was close against Marlborough boys. Christchurch were lucky to get out of this one against Timaru. And Christchurch, to me, the mistake was that they had too many new kids playing on a team that I think needed more experience on the field. But they debuted a few kids in there, changed things around, and almost lost the game. Because I chose Christchurch to beat Timaru anyway, and I thought it was going to be about 15, 20 points or something like that. But they only won by 5, and on messy days like it was on Saturday, those 5 points can come easy, and they can come with just one little mistake. And I don't know, like, it kind of feels a bit careless that they would put that many guys, unless they had a massive injury toll, which to me, boys' schools don't really have that kind of problem because they have so many boys. I don't know. Maybe they tried something, and I'm happy that it actually pulled through. But I thought it was risky. I thought it was pretty risky. Sacred Heart putting up a big score. I kind of knew that was going to happen. I really want to see Sacred Heart too. I really want to see what their boys look like. Spoke about the Silverstream winning by 36-0 over Rongotai. The Rotorua boys 15-0 win over St. John's. I thought the game should have been more like 2010 or 2012 because St. John's also, they coughed up a couple of movements, and there were a couple of calls that didn't go their way, which I thought was kind of strange. But that's just how it is. But St. John's they've really improved from their first game against Sacred Heart, their first preseason where they just got blown out. And so getting that score against Rotorua boys is a massive improvement. And one I think they really needed for such a young team that's all going to be back next year, including the bench. But they only lose like 3 players next year, so that's probably a team that will be careful. And as much as they learn this year, is going to be great for them to take through to next year. Tauranga boys won 19-0 over Wesley, and I don't think Wesley. I'm not too sure what's wrong. Maybe I'll go see them this week. They play Rotorua Boys this week. Maybe I'll go and see them and just see what it looks like. I'm not too sure what the problem is, but it doesn't look like they're scoring a lot of points and putting a lot of stuff together. But it's going to be interesting, and I want to go see for myself what it looks like and how the team looks and how they're structured and the kind of system that they're looking to play. Yeah, but it just wasn't. I guess it wasn't a good showing against Tauranga Boys. Yeah, it's just not what you kind of expect, eh? The Jeff Moon Cup goes back to Mags with their win over Old Ere. Shirley Boys did good again. Napier Boys almost lost to Lindisfarne, and that is not a good sign at all. That is not a good sign at all. And from the reports that I got, Napier Boys looked scrappy, and they didn't look like a team. They didn't play together. They looked pretty unorganized. And these are just reports from from a few people that I talked to that were at the game, and it just wasn't the same Napier Boys that you're used to seeing. And so I hopefully that they sort it out, which I know they will because they got a good coaching staff and got a good head coach down there. So they'll sort it out. But sometimes it's like you just don't want to lose to teams that you shouldn't be losing to, and that shouldn't even be close. Lindisfarne, I'm not trying to disrespect or anything, but I don't even know if they have ever beaten Napier Boys or even come close to beating Napier Boys, even when they had really good teams. And so that one might have been the first one in history if they actually pulled that one off. And to lose by 1 point, I'll give it up to Lindisfarne. Congrats to you guys for pulling a big Super 8 team like that close, you know. That could have been 2 losses for the Super 8 teams against CNI teams if Fielding had beaten Hastings and Lindisfarne won that one as well. I mean, imagine if Whanganui Collegiate also beat Palmy and had, 3 CNI teams beating 3 Super 8 teams, just not really seen. Nelson College is getting their way back to what they were with their 60-point win. The 1B, that one was interesting. Because I was taking a lot of guesses just on the rosters that I've seen and what players I knew coming back. I think I only picked like 50% of these games. I think I only got half of them right. Like St. Paul's won. St. Paul's College, I actually want to go and see. Howick, I want to go and see. I picked that one. McLean's beat Botany, which I didn't pick that one. Waitakere beat Onehunga, which I didn't pick that one either. I picked Otahuhu College, and Otahuhu College is the team that I think this year maybe should be playing in the 1A. And there's always a team from the 1B that should be in the 1A, but because of how, and this is the other thing I don't agree with either, is that if you come top 2, if you're top 2 in the 1B, you play the bottom 2 from the 1A from the year before. But to me, that doesn't make sense because you're like, well, those boys aren't there anymore. Those boys aren't even there to play for what they worked for, So I don't know if there's like another way of doing that, but maybe if they should take the top 4 from the 1B and have them play each other and then go through, because I know Otahuhu College has sort of had a rebuilding and had a lot of young guys come back. And even when I saw them against Old Ere 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they did have some really good players there. They did have some really good players on the team. Their fullback, who was so sharp, real small, nippy kid, but man, he was finding those gaps in the line, and they have just like players like that. Pakuranga was another one that won the 1C. Alfriston winning over Edgewater. Pukekohe beating Tamaki. Tamaki's an interesting one, eh? From being in the 1A, and then they just in the space of 3 years, like 3 years, they fell from the 1A down to the 1C just in 3 years. Oh, that's strange. That's kind of unheard of in a little bit. A little bit. So, um, I don't know. Something's going on there. Marcelin and Mangere played, and Marcelin won that one 16-10. I actually want to go and see what those two teams look like. So hopefully I get to plan those into my schedule as well. Francis Douglas won over Harwood High School, which is obvious, 46 no, which is, I guess, a good given score. Rathkill beat Hatupoda College, and 31-5 is not the score that I thought this game would be. And Hatupoda's they've got to pick it up. They've got a lot of talent. They've got players, and they're just not putting it together, but they need to put it together for a good team that they do have. Westlake had the massive win over Whangarei Boys, and so I'm going to reevaluate Westlake and then probably start moving them up if they keep winning so impressive like that. And and then a lot of the players did play the way that I thought they would. And then there were a few players that actually played way beyond what I thought they could be playing like. And they really blew my expectations, out the door with how well they performed. And so those guys are going to have a look at it, and then just reevaluate how I think about that team, and hopefully they keep winning these good impressive games like they have been, or like they did on Saturday. Rosa was the other one that won really good with 59 points against Kaipara. I know it's Kaipara, but like at the same time, 59 points in the rain is a good score to have, because there's a lot of mistakes, and a lot of mistakes could happen too. So maybe it could have been 67, just missing out on a few tries or something like that. Rangitoto won good against Orewa. Manurewa also won good against Takapuna Grammar. Massey had a close one against Mahurangi. And I thought this Massey one would be a bit of a blowout. And so I want to see what Massey does next week and how they score next week, because I actually expected them to blow them out. Wellington College is back in it, beating Hibs. PC and Taita College, or Porirua College, that one got cancelled. St. Bernard's is looking good. Tawa College is looking good. Awatea is looking all right. Mana College and also Paraparumu College got some good wins as well. And surprising ones, I don't know, they just weren't the ones that I expected to come out like that. Even Paraparumu, 901 as well. And then this coming week is the last grading games for Wellington, and so we will see who ends up into that first Premier competition down there in the Wellington Cup in the first division. So good luck to you guys who have to play in those ones. And I'll do some homework and bring some predictions and like ones that I think, what teams I think would win. Waimea Combined had a massive win. I chose St. Thomas over Christ, and Christ did a number on them, and so Christ is moving up in the rankings for sure. St. Bede's had a close one against Rangiora, which I thought was surprising. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that at all. So, that one was quite surprising. Southland Boys won 57-3 over Mount Aspiring. Dunstan College beat John McGlashan. I don't know what happened in that game. I don't know if John McGlashan will send me that game, because they probably won't want me to see them lose. But Dunstan, if you guys got a recording, please send me or hook me into your guys' huddle accounts. I know, because I really want to see what happened. John McGlashan losing to Dunstan is not a good sign for John McGlashan anyway, because I think they have a New Zealand secondary school player there, at John McGlashan, and they have a team. They're not like a bad team. But Dunstan lost last week, against a team that they shouldn't have. And I'll be interested to see if someone's got a game, got the game. Please hook me up so I can watch it and see what happened. Waitaki drawing with South Otago was not what I expected. I thought Waitaki was going to win that one. Wakatupu got their first win against Combined. And I picked St. Kevin's over Otago Boys, but Otago Boys second 15, but St. Kevin's also lost. It's going to be interesting this week. I want to look at all these bigger teams that are having this, I think, down curve on their season just at this beginning. I want to see how many of them respond and come out with good wins. I want to see if Scots College can have a big response and win. Otago Boys have a big response and win. I want to see Napier, even though they didn't lose, I want to see how well they can do and get a win. I think Napier's playing St. Paul's Collegiate down in Taupo. Yeah, I think that's the one. And then St. Paul's have another game against Gisborne Boys in Taupo on Tuesday as well, or something like that. But so I'm really keen to see what happens this week. The top 200. So the rankings will be out tonight. The top 200 player rankings will be out tomorrow, with the new rankings of the top 200 and the new rankings of the Year 12 top 100. And there are some boys flying up the rankings. There's some boys coming down. There have been some boys that I've seen twice now that will probably be coming off the list for both the top 200 and with the top 100 Year 12s. And so there is going to be some there's going to be some movement, and there usually is a lot of movement after the first 2-3 weeks of the competition, because I get to see everyone how they really are and what they're really like, and then now I can change accordingly to that instead of what I thought they were going to be from last year to this year. So have a look at that. Anybody else, please add me onto your huddles. Send me your games so I can have a watch, and I can see your players and see your teams and promote your guys' schools and your rugby programs and your sports programs and all the other programs that you want to watch and all the other programs that are out there. I just want to promote the boys. I want to promote the boys, and I want to promote the sport and the schools. Please help me out. Like, subscribe, and comment. And also, please click on the ads so that I can get some money from Google ads, and they can pay me some more so I can do some more stuff. All right. Thank you for coming to the Monday morning meeting. And that's me, Herschel Fruin. Peace.